Hello, my name is Stephen Holmes. I'm currently a mature student at the University of Derby. I'm studying computer games modelling and animation. This is a quick video demonstrating a procedural generation tool I've created for an assignment. So to start with, when setting up this project, I made some very basic rooms. Each one of these has a small node off of the side, and this represents a valid position where we could spawn another room. So in this example, I've created a set using just base cubes primitives, so I can create something very simple to just explain how it works. You can create as many different rooms as you like. I've made this basis template so that it could be configured and changed easily. This is more for demonstration purposes, but as you can probably imagine, you could replace these basic primitives with any models you like. To actually set these up so that they can procedurally generate new rooms, we need to do a little bit of setup within each individual prefab themselves. So with this room example I've got here, it's only got one node off the side. And if we click into this, we've got some additional options. Over on the right, we can put in any room that we want to be able to spawn here. So in this example, we've only got two different rooms. I'm using a short straight piece and a long straight piece. As well as being able to choose what piece you want to spawn here, you can also configure the rotation that it comes in at. Because if you've not got something set up at the correct rotation, you can use these to tweak and change and make sure you've got things lining up exactly as you need them. Once you've finished setting those up and you've got a few different rooms with those node positions set up, and you've tweaked through and you've looked and you've put which rooms you want spawning off of those things, you can start to do some really cool stuff. So just using this one, which is the one we were just looking at with the one node, if we drop that in, you can see it just instantly starts to grow. And so off of every node here, like I mentioned, is exactly where the next room has spawned. Off of each node, when I clicked in, you probably caught that there was another option, which is re-roll distance threshold. What that means is when we move a piece, it will re-roll the outcome. So as you can see, when moving in the scene, it's regrowing, redoing the siege, redoing the dungeon. So you can set that as high or as low as you want. Usually I'll have it pretty low, but sometimes it's nice to have it at, say, 10, because then you have to move quite a distance before it re-rolls everything. You can make the little position tweakings you need to. Tweaking the distance threshold is a nice option to have, but I also have another option that we can use, which is a little bit more powerful. So instead of changing the distance threshold to make those slight tweaks that we need to do, once we've generated something we like, we can click into the top parent and you can hit lock positions. And now, whilst it's in this state, we can move the entire object and it doesn't re-roll any of the rooms that are here. This is stuck in this position now. I think it's worth mentioning as well that the system also works for placing props and furniture as well. So this is the exact same system setup, but instead we have object placer here, but we have bookcases, tables, and then if we go down again within the table, we're also using the object places once again, but for props. So we've got books, candles, geodes, ink pots, and so on, all in here. So when we move the furniture, it will re-roll what the furniture is and what's on the furniture. You can probably tell I've made a mistake here, and I've intentionally not fixed it whilst I've noticed it, because I think it's a good demonstration of something that's really important to highlight. If the positions aren't correct, then you might have some issues when generating your environment, because as you can see, the bookcase and the tables have totally different origin points. They need to be sorted out, because if you're generating at runtime, you might end up with geometry or tables or furniture within the map instead of placed exactly where you want them to be. So this is something I need to correct, but I thought it would be important to be seen here. When this really starts to become powerful is when we combine it with already existing systems. So if we were to place these within our rooms, it would randomly generate the whole dungeon or environment that we're making, but then it would also randomly generate which furniture, and then on top of that procedurally generate which props appear on that as well. But you could also combine that with systems that are already in Unity, like Unity Spline Tool system. So I've got an object placer here that will spawn on a spline. So if I were to drag it out now, you can see it just automatically starts spawning them. It also works with curves and bends. So it will automatically just go around and match your spline. This is an incredibly powerful tool, and it is going to speed up decorating and set dressing drastically. So now when this gets really good is when you go and you combine all of the different tools together. I've made my own setup with my own meshes. I'll do the smaller one. So this has my own custom meshes in it. Oh, it's slightly in the floor. Let's raise that up a little bit. There we go. But within here, we have the same furniture that was showcased a moment ago, which has all of those nodes on to randomly generate what furniture is here, what props spawn on the furniture. So basically nothing in this whole dungeon is placed manually. The other thing I've taken the time to do with the furniture placement is material randomization. So as you've probably noticed going through the dungeon, different books, potions and paintings all have different materials, but it's the same prefab. It means when we randomize, when we procedurally generate, every single book, every single potion, and every single painting on the wall will look slightly different. Given the time, you could create hundreds of these and have so much variation within your environment. But given the timescale of this project, I thought it was best to only do 4 or 5 of each. To really showcase the capabilities of this tool, I've put together a full level akin to a tower defense game inspired by Orcs Must Die or Dungeon Defenders. So this entire environment was procedurally generated. I didn't place a single thing here. This includes the AI pathing. So one of the end caps that I have has these door prefabs in. So when an AI spawns, they search for a random target, and that target being the door, and then they can navigate through the environment once the nav mesh has been baked. I think I've covered everything within this procedural generation tool, but if you have any further questions, just leave a comment and I will reply to it.